And the overall consensus with it was that there was a lot of negative comments. And when I talked to Slacks, I said, you know, it would not hurt to have more FTOs in because we're going to deal with FTO burnout. And his response was, and I quote, well, I haven't heard anybody burning out. I said, yeah, you haven't heard anyone burning out yet. I'm trying to manage that from happening before we have everybody burnt out. And
the the wick is burnt out. There is no more wick in the candle.
Yes,
the flame is gone.
This is where I'm at right now, because I agree with you, and whatever you're about to tell him, I feel like is about what I've already told Slacks about a month ago, because I warned him that burnout was going to happen and is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I tried to patch this before it happened, and I'm watching history repeat itself right now. So I'd love to be there for that conversation, because Matt, I tried.
You hate to say it, but you told him so.
I told him so, and I told him because Turner wasn't around. So, all
right. Well, I need to go find Slacks before he goes off duty.
Yeah, go find Slacks. I'm gonna drive down to the PD now, and I'd like to be there for that conversation. So,
all right,
awesome. I will. I will see you soon. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Oh, shit. All right, let's go.
Booty call or something? What's going on, guys?
No, we were just up here real quick. No rush for anything.
Is that Johnny?
I'm not sure. Looks like it. I think so. You take care. Be safe. All right.
He's a package driver. Didn't he have like a business? He was like a multi-millionaire. What's happened there?
This is what happens when you have a government that fails.
So, can you tell me all the private things you just told Matt that you didn't want to tell me yet?
They were about the FTO process, and for respect purposes, it was me being very honest about current command structure with our captains, and I feel like if that's going to stay internal, I should keep it internal. What is going on to our left? I don't want to know.
Strikes? Maybe they're striking? Maybe they're sick of run oil? Don't blame them, bloody price of gas these days.
Yeah. So, Matt wants to see you. His phone was off. He also has to catch Slacks because he wants to talk about the FTO stuff with him. Which...
Oh, Slacks is around, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe I should swap to shift 2 so I can do some work.
I mean, if you're hired,
I'd rather burn in hell. Where we going then?
To MRPD.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't mean to pick you up and kind of drag you along. I apologize.
No, I love it. I love it. I want to be involved, you know. Who knows? Maybe I'll have some input.
Well, I'm not.
No, sure. I don't want to be like, you know, I don't want to push my way into nothing. So if you ditch me at any point, let me know.
Well, I may have to for this meeting because what I just talked to Matt about privately, I think, is we're about to have a big meeting. Yeah.
What is it? Not enough FTOs, too many cadets?
Well, we knew that going into it, but the candle has burned out for everybody right now. There's only a couple of us. And the point that I made to Rhodes without going into the nitty gritty was that since Turner's absence, I have essentially taken on the role of what the captains have been doing.
Right, so you've got too much on your plate.
I have way too much on my plate. I have had to...
Dispatch 131, 23.
Just so I could have an opportunity to respond to a single call, I have had to neglect FTO time just so that I can be on duty. It would be unfair to a cadet to respond to one call and then be in 4 meetings. So...
Listen, you got to put your foot down, mate. Then you got to say, listen, I can't be an FTO and be... essentially the leader of the shift at the same time. It's just not. That's not. Like,
I have put that foot down.
Oh, you have?
Oh yeah, I have told everyone. Yeah, I haven't taken you because I've been so busy.
Yeah, but let's be honest, the cadets don't care
Oh yeah.
at the end of the day. So that's not who you got to tell. You got to tell all the captains.
I did mention it to Slacks in an unrelated meeting, to be fair.
All right.
But yeah, I have made the point because they were talking about incentivizing, FTO work. And I told
That's not gonna
Slacks,
work.
yeah, I told Slacks, I said, okay, you're incentivizing it that, if you don't meet a minimum, you lose that incentivize. What about the people that have been, doing a lot more than others and haven't had an opportunity to, have a proper meeting? What's up, Greg?
Right, yeah.
Let me see who's all here. I see Slacks, Bouchard, and Rhodes.
Trash.
Huh?
It's trash. It's dangerous.
Yeah,
It's an unoccupied backpack. You know what they do in England? They close the bloody train station for that.
yeah, definitely.
That could be a bomb.
It absolutely could be,
Planted by
yeah.
the mayor's office. You know.
I mean, I would give a little credit. Just the mayor's office isn't all bad right now, okay?
Now I've been seeing some of the legislation being pushed. Some of it's got silly names, but most
I
of
agree.
it's pretty decent.
I absolutely agree. Is Slacks leaving? I'm so confused.
Where's my husband?
He's downstairs in the garage. I'm gonna tell him to come up and say hi to you. Dude, I can't make this up. I absolutely cannot make this up. Every day after the meeting, it is just, I'm a meeting bitch. Hi, chat, it's me, the meeting bitch. Dude, I got to meet your cadet finally. Hello.
Give me 1 second. I'm just filling out a report from yesterday.
You were all good. I have to fill out too, actually. Thank you for reminding me.
Slacks is going off duty in like 10 minutes. They're going somewhere or something. They'll be back, and then he's going to have a conversation with me.
Okay. I would like to be there for that. Your husband is currently upstairs. He's not inside. He's just up the ramp here when you go out the garage doors.
Has he been hired for dispatch yet?
No, I've been trying to fight this case too. I also got real petty. Oh my God.
With who?
Turner.
When?
About a week ago when I conducted an interview, when I was asked, how I felt about this guy, I said, well, I have no relation to him, but I think he's great for dispatch. According to the legislation, he's not my father. I have no bias. So, yeah, he hasn't been hired yet. I don't know why dispatch is still on such a bottleneck, but I think we need it real bad. I think what pisses me off is Dark wants to actually build it up in Shift 3 and actually hire people, interview people. He's the only one proactively available at these hours. I don't know why they're rating.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel bad.
Me too.
No. What I'm about to say is, I feel bad for what I'm about to dump on Slacks. But for a brief period of time, it seemed like there was kind of a light at the end of the tunnel, but there isn't. Like, I thought I saw a shadow, which implied there was a light further down, but there isn't.
What are you talking about? Like in general for the PD or like certain things?
Yeah, well, specifically for Shift 3. Listen, I've delved into Shift 2 and like post-meeting Shift 1, and their numbers for the most part are fine. They really are fine. But when you start to take a deep dive into the Shift 3 roster, which is a skeleton of a skeleton, it's not good. Of the 11 full officers we have, 6 of them are pretty much MIA, don't show up. That leaves 5.
Yeah, I've already had the voice of opinion. I'm going to tell you right now, if you go check...
Let me finish. That leaves 5.
Yeah.
We have 6 FTOs.
And out of the 6, 3 or 4 of them are not over it, but are tired?
No, literally 5 of the active officers are all FTOs. Turner would be the 6th.
Oh God.
That means there are no FTOs that are, you know. Oop, is he back? They, I believe, are back.
This is gonna be a harsh one, but I think it needs to be brought up. I've tried to take as much weight off of Turner's shoulders, but we have been stalemated. So
Yeah, and this is true.
I will back you up with this, because I feel like a lot of what you're about to say is a lot of stuff that I preemptively warned the captains about, and I was told,
Dispatch 131,
well, no
clear
one's
the vault
talked about
tonight.
burnout yet, so don't worry about it. And I'm like, that's the problem, is you're waiting for the problem. Don't wait for the problem, prepare for it.
Tango 64, 10-7, Max.
All right. I will let him conclude there.
Your husband would like to see you. He's calling me and panicking. Could you just go up and tell him, hey, I'm about to be in a meeting and that you love him or
Yeah.
something? Okay. Matt's coming up right now.
Oh, he is? Okay, you're right.
All right.
You're probably living in a pigsty right now. I saw the trash in the yard.
That's because of Reed.
Oh, yeah, I'll sort him out. Don't worry.
Okay, perfect. And you know what? Maybe if we give you keys,
Not if I give him keys first. Dad, do you want to live at the house?
maybe.
I live in both
How do you
houses,
feel about
okay?
interior decoration?
Oh, I'd love it. Is it hard? Is it expensive?
It is quite expensive. It most definitely can be.
Well, I've got no money.
We can figure that out, because you can
Okay.
sort of plan out what you'd like to do, and then we can get the materials to
It's
actually
bad.
build it.
Spirit, the thing that you're
Okay,
missing
yeah.
is that the reason it's bad right now
Sure.
is because we haven't had a captain to actually help dictate.
But,
and
Is
fix.
it okay?
Rose, I'm gonna get gas. I'll be back, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Who's
No,
that
no, not at all. I'm about to have a meeting with the captain. That captain specifically,
Right.
regarding the logistical nightmare that is Shift 3. The
Shift
fact
3 is in a
that
difficult
we are,
position, which sucks.
Um,
It's not anyone's
everything is bottlenecked.
individual fault, though. That's the
for
problem.
No reason.
Everybody
really.
thinks they have the answer. There's a
Um,
lot more that's actually going on.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
it's
okay.
gonna be interesting.
We're working through it. We're
Yeah,
dealing
mate.
with it.
Man,
Things are
this is
bound
my
to get bad
husband.
when we
Oh.
can't
Honey,
make
we
big
need to get
decisions.
remarried.
Yeah, I've bloody heard it, but can you introduce me first before you're very rude,
yeah,
Matt. Come on.
McMahon, this is my husband Richard.
Hello.
Hey,
how you
only
doing?
I
Nice
get
to
to
meet
call
him
you.
Dick.
Nice to
It's
meet
He
you.
just-
is my dick.
Okay.
And honey, this is Liam McMahon.
Yeah.
Liam
Hello.
McMahon. Hello,
Yes,
mate.
Mhm.
Don't ever
Hello,
say that
hello.
again.
This is
Are
my
you
dick. I
taking
like
care of
that.
my
God
husband?
damn it.
Huh?
He takes care of himself very well.
Yeah, I know he does. It was a test and you passed.
All
Okay,
right.
Do you
yeah.
think he's attractive?
No, sir.
That's damn right. I like this guy. I like him. What about my son? This one. You know, he's
Honey,
available.
honey.
No, not my son. This is my acquaintance.
Yeah, you're not. Oh,
he's-
yeah. You're not allowed to say that.
Honey, no. He can be your son, but it's with a U. He's the highlight of your day.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
According
Oh, he's
according
my
to the
son.
legislation,
Oh, nice.
He's my
Nice.
son.
That's
Exactly. All right, give me a moment. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
you're fine.
get Barrick to make a key.
Okay.
Oh. We
Dad.
get brought in.
Wait, you live in there too, Liam?
Oh, key. Oh, no, not living. No, it was
Oh,
more.
yeah.
I thought you meant key to the building.
Nah, I'm
here.
trying to get hired as a dispatcher, but it hasn't been going too great at the minute.
Wait, really? We could use it. This time of
No,
day,
it's
we're
just 'cause
fucking.
Turner
least-
hasn't been around. That's all.
Oh.
I know it's not his fault, but yeah.
Okay, so Barrick has a spare key for you. It's in his locker.
Oh.
If I end up speaking with the captain and I'm not here, I'll just let Barrick know to give it to you and that you'll be over here.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
honey,
Yeah.
I'm about to ruin Mission Row for you. You ready?
No. What is
Keep
it?
clear isn't centered.
Ah, that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
I have to point it out to everybody.
Matt, you've seen the
Listen, if
trees
I
at the
Why
end,
did you
right?
do this to me?
everyone has to suffer with me.
Oh no.
You see the trees that have been planted out front?
Yeah.
That one still bothers me every time.
Yeah. It be what it be.
That's our cue.
Oh, look. Yep. Hold on.
Whoever
Who
let
the
the
fuck
city
would
go
even
to
do that?
collapse. All right. I said, was it the captain coming back? I'll leave you
Yeah.
to it if that's what's happening.
Yep. I just told Barrick where you are. But
All right.
I'll see you
Okay.
in a bit.
Good luck.
Let's
honey.
go sneak
Hold it
that meeting.
down.
Why would he do this? Does he do this shit to you too?
Got it. Okay.
All right. Where do we go?
Yeah, I don't know. I know people think it's bad right now. The takeaway that I need
Oh,
people
I'm
to
gonna have an
realize and
aneurysm.
remember
You hear
is
the
that we.
train?
What's that?
I'm about to have a fucking aneurysm. You don't hear the train?
No, not this time. Sometimes I do, and
Oh
it
my
drives
God,
me
I'm
up the
gonna
wall.
die.
Why?
I'm going to die.
Is it a
I'm
train
the
or
only one who hears the train clearly.
is it a siren?
Ooh.
Oh, it is. Maybe
Yeah,
it's not the
probably
train.
is. Oh, there you are.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, sorry. Oop, excuse me.
Of course.
You find out which one it was?
It's got to be this, I think.
Just park it and 311.
OS1 has been parked. The siren was on.
All right. But yeah, I hope people realize that we are working at like very, very minimal capacity right now. We're doing the best that we can to kind of work it.
Help like train.
you
I
know.
see these guys are having like, I don't know if I could do some informal shit or what, but these guys.
I
Feel
mean-
like they.
Almost side. You know, if you can keep giving advice, let them know what's going on, right?
Yeah. Okay. I do. I
Radio
just
check.
don't want to. I just don't want to overstep.
No, I mean, if he's something wrong, then mention it, right?
Yeah. Right.
Did
Yep.
you see Richard?
Is he outside?
Yeah, he's on the
Okay.
other side.
Yeah. His dick is outside.
Yep, it's true.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All
Let's keep
right,
it
we
professional,
should.
gentlemen. What's going on?
No,
His name's Richard.
his name's Richard. Dick for short.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Where should we go? You know what? I have an idea. This way.
I'm scared.
That's how you introduced them.
If you say rooftop, I'm gonna vomit.
No, we're going right down.
Ooh.
No, look.
Oh, no.
No, here's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, here is fine.
That's usually where I sleep at sometimes.
This is a very good spot when you think about it.
All right. Go ahead and take a seat here. Slacks, I hate to pull you aside during a shift, but I feel it's completely necessary given the circumstances, because right now, shift 3 is just a logistical nightmare.
It truly
and-
is. Okay.
And to point that out for context, because I don't just want to say it's a nightmare and then just back away as if that tells you the whole story, because it doesn't.
Okay.
So for context, right now we have 11 full officers in shift 3, right? However, of those 11, 6 of them are for all intents and purposes MIA, right? Our roster, as it stands for full officers, is Iris, who has been MIA for weeks with the exception of the past few days. Pinzone, who barely shows up for work. Roy Mercer barely shows up for work.
I don't think I've
Gage
met Roy.
Strader barely shows up for work. Lorraine Mercer barely shows up for work. Then there's myself, who shows up daily. There is Sky, who shows up more often than not. There's Alice that shows up more often than not. There's Barrick that shows up every single day. There's Flop that shows up every single day. And then there's Turner, who is on an LOA. Right? So for all intents and purposes, there are 5 full
that's
officers.
rough. That is rough, what you just said right there.
But hear me out, because I'm gonna go deeper than just that, because it is important that a captain understands the current state of shift 3, because like I said, it needs to be said, and people need to be made aware, because right now it is not good. And when I say it's not good, shift 3 is at its breaking point, truthfully. Truthfully. Okay, so taking all of that into account, right, of the shift 3 people who are, again, for all intents and purposes, MIA, there's 6 of them. Okay, we are essentially a skeleton of a skeleton crew, which then leaves there to be 5 individuals who show up more often than not, almost on a daily basis for the majority of us, right? Despite that, we have 6 FTOs, and I've spoken to every single one of them, with the exception of Turner, who again is on an LOA, understandable. Every single FTO is burnt out. Again, with the exception of Turner, because I was unable to speak to Turner. But I've asked every single one. Everyone is burnt out. Most of which occurred even prior to FTOing. Most of it just stemmed from excessive burnout due to just a severe lack of help for the first couple months. And right now, as it stands, we have 9 PPOs. We have 9 just full-on non-PPO cadets at the moment. So there's a total of 18 cadets for 6 FTOs, 5 of which are burnt out. And the last one is on leave. And there is no light at the end of the tunnel. For a brief moment, it seemed like we saw a shadow, which implied that there was a light in the distance, but there isn't. And then I'm like, given that, I'm gonna be real. It is very difficult to do our job on a daily basis with the
100%.
resources that we currently have.
I believe you. I mean, you need 25 plus cops at least to have some sort of, wiggle room to do your job without worrying about back to back to back to back to back.
So as it stands, again, given all of that, I also feel it necessary to point out that I have previously been told that there is essentially a negative stigma, essentially against the old guard, if you will, is how it was worded to me. And the people who FTO, I want to make this clear specifically for shift 3. I can't speak on behalf of other shifts. But specifically for shift 3, and the people who show up every single day, I cannot stress the importance of pointing this out. That consists of Flop Dugong, Eric Johnson, Alice Watson, Sky Faye, and myself. Right?
This is a good
what
point.
we all have in common?
Old guard.
And despite the negative stigma, we still show up every single day. We are trying to fight through the burnout every single day. We've asked questions in the past that
the
have
most
gone
valuable
unanswered.
stance I have seen someone
right
make
now.
yet.
We are at least trying to push the process forward in regards to getting PPOs pushed up to full officer. We were told we'd have an answer a few days ago that still has yet to happen.
Yes. So, absolutely. As far as what you're talking about, I mean, the concerns I've had a week ago that I thought we're gonna get just this weekend, but unfortunate things do happen, and Turner being an LOA does, slow things down. It creates a bit of a bottleneck. But right now, I'm gonna step in and try to help out with that, because I spoke with Captain Ruth about it earlier today. And as far as promotions, pushing people to PPO and officer promotions and senior officer promotions and getting more people involved, I think we want to get the ball rolling on that this week and try to push people out the door.
I know Barrick's
we
going to
can
have a
start,
very
freeing things up and
differing
give you guys
opinion about
more,
this.
freedom. Now, as far as the stigma of the old guard, I personally don't ever see it that way. I don't look at the past or I don't look at the new. I want somebody who fits
Barrick thinks that we're doing just
I
fine.
want somebody who has a good attitude.
I
is a good person,
I can't wait here.
and has good values.
That step in, but
Okay. Well, I mean that's good to hear. However, the point sort of still stands in that right now we do not have the bandwidth available to train every one of these new cadets. And I see that you're helping. I see that you took 2 FTOs. But anytime any of us are taking FTOs or cadets rather, we're doubling up just about every single time without fail, sort of over and over and over. And it's very rough. A lot of these people, I don't really know what level of experience they stated they previously had. But I don't know if it's just like, now sometimes throughout high school, you'd learn equations in math and then summer fucking happens and you come back and you don't remember any of it. I don't know if they had one of those moments. But,
up is bad
but
for
some
learning.
of them are most definitely a little rough. And I hate to be the person to offer, or not offer, but point out problems without solutions. But in my opinion, there needs to be a severe heavy focus on people with experience, because again, we do not have the bandwidth to deal with cadets. We have
I understand what you're
3
saying, man.
times the amount of cadets as we have FTOs. And again, of the 6 FTOs, 1 is on leave. The remainder of the 5 are at their breaking point. Because every one of us has been here practically from the very beginning. Every one of us was subjected to being on duty with 2 officers, dealing with 7 senior bun stabbings over the course of 3 hours, writing down statements for hours on end. And ultimately, with he said, she said, it is what it is. But then obviously the training portion came after, and the skeleton of the skeleton crew is not skeleton enough to deal with everything. So my question for you is, because I just need to know what's going to happen in the near future regarding what is going to be done in the next few days, what's going to be done in the next week, what's going to be done in the next month to help out with the problem that we're having here in shift 3. Because again,
well, a couple of things, right? We need obviously we need to promote one more senior within shift 3 to help out with just leadership in general, right? That's 1. 2, these PPOs need to promote to an officer and see if we can get some of these officers that got promoted PPO to see if they're interested in helping with FTO, and to allow more FTOs to enter the FTO program, to give more space and have more people be taken out so those people can get trained, because the biggest bottleneck is training, right? But at the same time, I see your point. It'd be a lot easier to train somebody with a lot of experience than somebody who's basically green and fresh to it, right? So I think the main focus for shift 3, then, if that's the case, is to bring folks with previous experience, but also keep in mind those folks, they still got to just to buy into what we're trying to do. Because what I've been noticing in a bit in shift 1, shift 2 when I patrol is some folks that do come with experience, they have a hard time unwrapping the past as far as what they had done previously, and a lot of it is just muscle memory, and they go back to it, and as a result, they're messing up on the streets, or they're doing things the wrong way, or they're escalating too much, or they don't understand what to do because they're not used to dealing with something that is a bit different.
I mean, that makes sense. Old habits die hard. There's no denying that. But at the same time, not that I necessarily want to say, what the lesser of 2 evils are.
Time in the field is more valuable.
In the position to
way
be
more valuable
pointing
than
out
sitting
which
someone in a
of
classroom.
2 options are worse. But genuinely, if we don't do something like ASAP, it's
I believe
rough.
you. I believe you. There needs to be a sense of urgency for sure. Because, like I said, we're at the make or break a point right now. Because if we don't try to tip things our direction, then we're gonna get buried, and we'll never recover from this for months.
Slacks, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know if Turner ever had a conversation with you regarding me. He had asked me to FTO. I told him I'd consider. And the day that I inquired about being an FTO, he was like, well, why do you want to do it? I explained. And he's like, well, where do you see yourself in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months? And I said, right now, I can't tell you. I can't, in the tunnel that we're in, I can't see if we're going in the right direction because there's no light. I don't know where the exit is. It is complete darkness. There's nothing. I pretty much said, ask me in a month or two. It's been a month, and truthfully, I still don't have that answer given the current state. I think a lot of other shifts, both 1 and 2, at least have a relatively active
That's a good way of putting it,
roster,
Knight.
especially referencing the skeleton crew.
Right.
But
And
shift
Mhm.
3, on the other hand, not so much. Not even close.
exactly. And like you said, it sounded like it was set, doomed to fail from the beginning, because when you have half the skeleton crew not showing up, who's going to pick up the slack? Right. And that's a problem. And that's a big problem. And the shift 3 it's a hard shift to recruit for. It really is. Right. But at the same time, like you said, I think we should probably lean on the folks with experience for time being. Bring folks with experience, a couple of shifts with an FTO, and then push them out the door with PPO. That's something I want to propose for shift 3. Maybe bring 5, 6 guys at a time. See if we can get them out there. That way it gives you guys more room to have folks that can respond to calls, help you out. BS77.
Absolutely.
All right. And
But the most important thing is maintain the standard. That's always been the challenge, right? Is how do we bring more, but maintain that quality?
Well, okay. Counterpoint to that: how can we maintain any level of quality if we're unable to do our job just because of a logistical nightmare at the moment?
Right. I mean, like I said, I see both sides, right?
Right. I mean, so here, I think my biggest concern is that, like, in the past, it's sort of been brought up in passing, and we were told, recruitment's going to be done, and that's great. But to be clear, hiring is not a bottleneck. Training is. Right. I can't stress that enough. We can hire 1 million people. We can't train 1 million people. And so, do you have an ETA, like a rough estimate even of when we can start promoting PPOs to
Now,
full officers, or
let's
what
go.
that process?
Let's. I mean, the process was turned. It was supposed to go through it. So when it comes to PPOs getting promoted, right? What happens is,
Hey, what's
y'all
up, Ninja? How you
put
doing?
them up for vote, right? As far as that PPO, and when they get promoted to PPO, and then they are good to go at day 30, and there's good feedback on that person, a sergeant looks at it and says, "Okay, this person is ready for an officer. Let's promote him. Let's do a little ceremony or
Okay,
something like that."
I'm gonna need you to roll that back, because although that rank exists in our chain of command, it does not practically exist.
Correct. Like I said, right now, seniors are acting basically like sergeants, right? And then they're kind of in between the captains, right?
Yes.
You're looking at him.
Slacks on, be real. I'm gonna be very real with you, and like I
Yeah,
said, I
tell me-
hate to
tell me-
drop all this on you.
No, tell me what you
right
think.
now,
I mean, I need to hear
there are the 3 pillars of the police department, which are the 3 captains, but pretty much for the most part 1 in each shift. It has been a little over 2 months, and there has been very little delegation. I think y'all need to start putting people in positions to be doing stuff for you, so that the entirety of the police department doesn't fall on the shoulders of 3 people. Because right now, our police department's a little wonky with 1 of the captains missing, which, again, totally understand why, right? Personal reasons and such, but it doesn't really change the fact that the police department's a little wonky right now, tilted in one direction because somebody's missing. And even if he wasn't missing, this situation doesn't really change in the slightest, because at the end of the day, we would have 1 additional FTO, but that doesn't help with anything. And, like, I believe it was Barrick reached out regarding what the official process is going to be, because, again, we need to be promoting people in shift 3 because we don't have people. We need, for McMahon's a great example, right?
Right, no,
He's inquiring
right.
about FTOing but we don't even have any directive. We have no direction for him because we haven't gotten that response yet. And we're trying to resolve the issue, but we can't.
And I understand what you're saying. Because if Turner was here, this would not be an issue because we can just knock it out right away, right? And that's where kind of like the bottleneck is, like you said, right? As far as delegation, I mean, in shift 2, and I'll speak on my personal experience, I even let FTOs do their interviews and take the sergeant orals to hire folks as far as, and then have me be the last person to talk to them. I've been doing a lot of delegation to FTOs, seniors, and other officers within the PD. So if I can give a task to somebody, I can do it. Hey, take care of it. I got plenty of things on my plate. Now, as far as, you know, sergeants and lieutenants and everything going on in the future, right? What I'm proposing here is obviously guidelines for the chief of police and sheriff election. Now, when those folks come in, it would probably be more appropriate if they pick their command as part of their PD.
Wait, so what are you saying that is that like something that you're saying is coming?
Yes.
In the future?
Yeah. I would imagine hopefully soon. I can't put a timeline on it soon, but hopefully soon.
Soon TM, baby.
Did you say sheriff?
And chief.
Okay.
Okay. While I am not opposed to there being a separate department, historically there always has been. I don't know that the timing of that sounds correct.
Well, I mean,
That sounds like
what are you
it'll
saying?
destabilize whatever remnants of a department that there is here. If there's already a shift in like,
I can't speak for, I guess,
I don't know about
your vision.
that.
I mean, Rhodes, when I say hopefully soon, maybe a month.
I mean, at this rate, in a month, we're still gonna have.
While it will,
16 cadets.
Matt's laying it out.
I see what he's saying though.
Matt's
like,
laying it out. Flop laid all this
while
out
it will
a month ago.
cripple certain things to an extent.
All of
it
this
will
a month
also
ago.
Provide like
It's very
the
funny
liberty for things
how I feel like
to,
I'm having like deja vu
like,
right now.
free flow, and for whoever is put in those positions to, like, properly set things up, I guess.
I mean, I don't
Or
disagree with you,
properly
Rhodes.
push things forward.
I mean, I don't disagree with you said Rhodes because the mayor and the city council have brought this up to me multiple times, and I've told them we're not ready. So this discussion
definitely.
started 2 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't think the police department is ready for any sort of major shift like that. But the reality here is, if there's an expectation that things are going to change once that happens, whatever those changes could potentially be can happen prior to, right? Hypothetical, complete hypothetical here. But let's say Cornwood were to be a sheriff, right? And Cornwood decides, you know, I want this person to be a lieutenant. I want this person to be a sergeant.
But
I
bad
want
for
this
Zeiss.
person to be a senior.
Zeiss, I
right?
don't want
Those things
Zeiss
could
to feel
happen
bad
right
at all.
now in the current.
None of us want Zeiss to feel bad.
Correct.
We are doing just
roster.
fine without Zeiss.
Right,
but we have
correct, right.
actual,
But here's the thing, though.
you know, things that need to be brought to a captain,
Who's
and
voting
Slacks
for
is the
him?
guy for captain.
Shouldn't it be the
I
police
hold
department?
absolutely
Well,
no
here's
bearing
the
of
thing. For me,
push or pull.
that's irrelevant. What I'm
for
saying
Zeiss.
is, if
I
that
want him to
could
take.
happen,
He could take the next 6 months
post-
off.
you know, election, if
No
you
gripe.
will, then
But
it could also happen prior
A
to.
captain
could it
needs to
not?
help with a lot of the stuff we have in shift 3 right now. So
I'm saying what I'm saying here is that the opportunity exists right now that people who are deserving of it could be a sergeant, could be a lieutenant, and at least fill the ranks for the police. There really isn't a chain of command. I say that not in like a very literal way.
There's no command.
Actually, you know, I do
there's a-
exactly. It's a chain of command, but it literally goes from recruit, cadet, officer, senior, no sergeant, no lieutenant, captain. And the two command positions, being sergeant and lieutenant, being unfilled is a little rough, because when I asked you what are we doing in regards to promoting people to full officer, your almost verbatim response was a sergeant will decide on that. But again,
No. I told you the process that we have written down, the SOPs, as far as how everything kind of built up, right?
Acted
How
up to
everything's
fill
built
the
up is for the
spot.
future.
the two
right?
people acted up to fill
As
the
far
spot are
as
Barrick
when you
and
have
Flop.
something in place. So if you read the SOPs as far as that and the FTO handbook, it has sergeant stated in there taking these roles, but I'm saying right now we're delegating to seniors. Now we're delegating to other folks.
Well, hold
Can I
on. There's two
suggest
seniors
a-
here. I don't want to cause drama or anything, but were either of you two seniors informed that y'all were essentially the equivalent of sergeants and sort of had the ability to make these decisions?
Verbatim, no, but it's been implied.
Yeah, I kind of gathered it as an unspoken thing.
I have two.
You're not.
Since we had access to.
You're not a
like,
sergeant,
command
but
stuff.
you're filling the roles of a sergeant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this is
Okay.
This is if I might suggest a temporary fix to our problem of Turner being, missing and on LOA. If you do choose to promote a third person to senior, let the three of us essentially vote and decide on things in Turner's absence until he returns. Let the three of us decide who gets promoted, who's chosen as FTO until Turner returns. That way we still have some kind of, way to go about things properly. And obviously we would still push things past you and Ruth as a final, thumbs up, or even like just email him at the very least. Just give us, because, the state of things we can talk about for hours standing down here. And ultimately, not much will come of it, in my opinion.
I'm not opposed to this.
But that is my temporary solution to our problem.
I understand. Okay. I mean,
Because it
I
is
recommend-
great having you here. Obviously, everybody loves having you around during this time, but you shouldn't be required to be here because, like, we're having issues or whatever.
yeah. I mean, I'm helping out. Right.
Yeah.
I'm a placeholder for time being, trying to help out. Right. Now, what you said, I don't see an issue with it. Just make a command report and vote on things as far as what you want to see in shift 3, or changes, or FTOs, or recommendations, or promotions. Right. Now, there is somebody who the seniors talked about, and this was supposed to be somebody promoted last week. Like I said,
Yeah, Turner told us about it.
right, is Alice Watson, right? And she could be plugged into the mix as well to help out with things that need to be dealt with as far as shift 3, right? And
Yeah.
you three could be the pillars, like you said, of trying to lead shift 3 and trying to make sure that things are on top, things are moving along. Now, as far as what we talked about from the PPOs to officers, let's knock this one out now, right? And then let's work on the system you said to where you vote on things till Turner gets back.
I would not be
Yeah,
opposed
that
to
was essentially all that I'm asking for, like a temporary band-aid so that we can actually get people from PPO to officer while Turner is
Yeah,
absent,
just vote
essentially.
on it. Just vote on it.
Yeah.
Go through them, vote on it, and promote them only if there's good feedback, of course. Obviously, if there's any negative feedback,
Yeah.
pull off.
So essentially, when the Alice thing does happen, herself, myself, and Flop will converge and discuss about certain like promotions, whether it be PPO to officer, officer to FTO, and make a commander report about it, and then it will be signed off by one of you, essentially.
I can tell you for a fact, command reports are the best way we can communicate right now, especially since we don't see each other often.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, that's promising. That's definitely promising in the grand scheme of things. It is, as of now, the only sort of like concrete, like, we're giving you some level of autonomy. And I say this as just an officer. I'm not a senior. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But looking at everything and how everything was going, like I said, I hate to sort of derail you going off duty, but it's a conversation that needed to be had because there's not a single one of us in this room who saw the light at the end of the tunnel, because we are kind of like shut down every step of the way.
Rose, I'm glad we had this
rough.
conversation. That's how I feel. I think that I believe in good feedback like this. Regardless if it's bad or good, it needs to be heard, right? And it's part of listening. And I'm all for delegation. At the end of the day, I'm not sure. I don't think the captains want to just, hog any power at the top. It's more of just making sure that it's being, fed in a way to where it's not overwhelming, it's nothing's too crazy, and we're on the same page. And that's all it comes down to is communication, right?
Yeah, and nobody. I don't want you to think that anybody here. We're not trying to complain. We're not trying to bitch and moan about this, that, and the other. Because I think probably everybody sitting here, or in this circle, has been through worse. But we know that in examples like a day or two ago, when a majority of us just, coincidentally decided to not get on shift for the day, like. There was nobody on duty, and at most like one or two.
Yeah. And
all that we're asking is like, as somebody that has been very passionate about this shift and trying to fix essentially the everlasting issue of trying to maintain proper unit numbers during the shift so that we can properly police and properly patrol the city. It's like mopping up the ocean. But at the same time, each and every one of us is still going to get up every day and get after it and try and fix the problem. And all that we were essentially asking for was just a little bit of help so that we can continue to push things along.
1,000%. If there's any times you ever feel that way, if there's things you want to bring up, my door is always open. So let's have the conversation.
Perfect.
Let's figure out the problems. Let's knock out these PPOs right now. I mean, I'm right here. Let's go through them. And we can start promoting some folks. I don't have to hear from the promotion. I can just say yes, and then y'all can do it whenever you see this person.
Okay.
Are you referring to a push from PPO to full officer, or are you referring to? Okay. I mean,
I think we all have 2 names at the minimum that we could probably all recommend.
I mean, at minimum, I have.
The reality is, I think most people that are PPOs are fit for full officer currently.
Who's not fit to be an officer from the PPO phase right now?
Currently, I'd say not Brixton, just because he's been a bit inactive a little bit since he became PPO, and Frost because he became PPO like literally 2 or 3 days ago.
I'm also going to note this in, and Barrick, I won't say too much, but the other officer that we wrote that report for yesterday, should we wait until that's all said and done before proposing and pushing?
Yeah, I mean, we can just we can just talk to him about it right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I think most of us would agree that Forte is capable of doing the job of a full officer. But as far as whether or not that actually happens, I know Ruth made note that everything to do with him is going to go through you two for the time being. So I guess we'll leave that up in the air. But Desmond Troy, Clover Fields, Lucas Lavender, Selena is another thing. I never really
was going to bring that up
to talk to Turner about because
I'm going to bring that up right now, actually. Yeah. I'm just going to lay this out. I do not feel it is within any of the FTO's ability or responsibility to do updates on Selena currently. If you go look at her FTO report, her PPO report, I should say, it is empty, and I am the one that was responsible. Last I heard, she was taking a week away from shift 3, and she has yet to return back to shift 3 outside the meeting. Now,
I had a thing with her just the other day. I even put feedback.
Did you?
The 17th, 4 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I spoke with her. Rhodes spoke with Selena regarding radio communications as she had failed to provide a proper location when announcing somebody had been stabbed, to the point at which Rhodes had to break her communication to tell her to let us know exactly where we needed to be. She was literally giving a full-on description, practically said 78s without letting us know where, is essentially what happened. Had a conversation with her regarding it, though.
I gotcha. The point I'm getting at is that Selena is primarily shift 2 at this point, and none of us really know where Selena's place is. But we trained and built her up in shift 3 to work for our shift. And when she got PPO, she practically went straight to shift 2. And she spends about an hour in shift 3 before she goes 42.
What do you recommend here?
Well, every interview I've conducted for Turner, I have asked a question, and Barrick has been witness to it. I have asked everybody, if you were interviewing for shift 3, you understand that you are being hired for shift 3. Is that correct? Yes. When you were able to, if you make it to the point of PPO and you have more freedoms, you are primarily focusing on training in the shift that you are being hired for, correct? Yes. And I've said okay each time. I think moving forward to avoid, and I don't want to, how do I say this? I don't want to make Selena, I guess, quote unquote, a statistic here, but I think that we need people to be reminded that if they're being hired for a shift, they are being hired for that shift. If they want to move to a different shift, I think they should have to reapply and be
Agreed.
hired for that shift. I don't think we should have people that are leaving for other shifts, at least until they are a full officer.
I
I will
actually
say,
could
like-
not disagree more because right now every shift needs help. I see what you're saying. You're trying to avoid the easier barrier to entry into shift 3 and then transitioning into other shifts, right?
Shift hopping, yeah.
But if at the end of the day they end up somewhere along the 3 that is to the benefit of the department as a whole, right? And now again, pulling away from shift 3 specifically is a little rough, but I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world.
Yeah, I kind of, because Selena's talked to me about this a couple times, and
I'm just going
said
based
how,
off of
like-
what we talked about, Barrick, and what we all discussed as FTOs.
yeah, month to month, her kind of like obligations will change, and it will impact like when she's able to police. And
I don't know why Barrick's going back on what we all discussed.
I kind of struggle with the back and forth of, I strongly and firmly believe that rule and think that people that go against it should just be let go. But at the same time, I have great empathy for cases like her situation, because I do believe that she is a good fit within this department, not only this shift, but shift 2. And I've heard nothing but good things from the seniors of shift 2 about her. So it's
Straight up, no, she is exclusively shift 2. Almost every one of her reports, 90% of them, if I had to throw a random guesstimate, are within shift 2 times. I've seen
mean-
maybe 2 reports. Oh, wait. January 25th and 26th, like those were all shift 3.
I just my
The-
biggest worry is opening Pandora's box to this, right? And that, but by that mean is a lot of people go from different shifts whenever they want, or change it up often. That's my biggest concern. But at the same time,
Well, go ahead.
you know, it's a cop on the street, right? So
I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing. I'm not saying fire her and move on. That's not. I don't want that to be the point I'm making. The point I'm trying to make though is we're hiring people for a shift that is in dire need of patrol units. We are trying our best to get people going, and when people move to a different shift, it's sort of demoralizing that we put on all the training and we're not seeing any result from it. And I don't want that to be a normal standard. Now, if she's better fit for shift 2, if you were willing to take her on, that's great. But I don't think I should be the one essentially being her mentor in shift 3 when she's not in my shift.
I mean, I think there's a fairly decent solution here. Right now, if y'all want to push, PPOs to officers, we discussed, right? But if we are specifically having an issue with Selena on the basis that she is very much so shift 2 and not shift 3, then I think we should allow that decision to be made by shift 2 FTOs that have been present with her, because
Correct.
she's only present in shift 2 for the most part.
Everyone can hear you guys in the corridor. Sorry
Oh.
for interrupting. XOXO.
Oh, thank you for the heads up.
that's problematic.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
I mean, I got nothing to
So
add.
I mean, right
Yeah.
now, I just think we avoid voting on Selena if that's the case.
Yeah, let me
so
speak
for
with
me-
McNulty and Ruby and the rest of the FTOs about that, and I'll come back to you with an answer on that.
For me, Desmond, Troy, Cloverfields, Lucas, McMahon, Forte, Graves.
Forte has had an issue recently come up, by the way.
Oh, what happened to Forte?
He
Do you not listen on radio?
No, it's not that. He undermined an officer during an incident. and he's given a task by an FTO to do something and did not do it. And we talked about that, Barrick, the whole vomit situation.
Yeah.
Believe Officer Gray left a note in there.
I believe I saw that note.
Okay. If that's the case.
Quick question. Do we think it's too early for Frost? Was
Jimmy?
Jimmy, yes. Sorry.
I'm
It
gonna
just
be
depends
real.
what the. Yeah.
If you were to ask myself and Barrick, I think we could easily verify that Jimmy Frost is very capable and would have zero issue. In fact, anytime we took him out, he was more of an FTO to the cadet that they were riding with, just on the basis that he had all the information.
Mhm.
And knows the process.
Sure.
And how to apply it, and takes control of scenes, despite being one of the more recent PPOs.
But also, I want him to learn too as well. I don't want him to come in there and thinking that he knows everything that comes to it and can basically just do whatever he wants, right? So
Exactly, but that is specifically why, although we're confident that he would be capable, I think it's too early given the circumstances.
agreed.
Desmond Troy, Cloverfields, Lucas Lavender, McMahon at minimum.
Yeah.
When did
those
Graves
four,
get PPO?
a week ago or a few days.
When
Okay,
did who?
we can hold on that one.
Who?
Graves.
Macy.
Yeah, Maisie just got PPO not long ago. You got PPO.
And yeah, I'd be on board. Desmond Troy, Cloverfields, Lucas Lavender, Liam McMahon.
I think
In
that's
my opinion,
a good.
all four should be full officers at minimum.
Agree.
No issues. I mean, I'll take a look at their PPO reports as long as there's nothing severe on there. Thumbs up.
Now I'm going to ask you, just to clarify, so that we're all on the same page. Do you still want the command report, or are you just saying that you're going to give us the green light? And if we get the green light on the PPO reports, we're good to
I'm giving you the
promote?
green light right now on the floor that we just talked about. So whenever you see them, promote them. Doesn't matter how you want to promote them, as far as, like, you know, hey, you're an officer, or, you know, come walk into the room and do something. Whatever you want to do, it is all up to y'all in shift 3. But as far as those 4, thumbs up.
Okay.
Perfect. And if any of them express interest in being an FTO, obviously Flop and Barrick being the seniors, how do you want them to handle that, just so that we know the process for that?
That was my follow-up question.
Just vote on it.
Vote on it, make a command report, place on the list of folks, and then vote on it.
Okay, perfect.
And I know we talked about this briefly yesterday, but do you want to move forward with the idea of a all shift senior plus meeting on it's up to you what it would be. Bi-weekly period, monthly period.
Bi-weekly would be good, actually.
Okay. Is that something that you want to organize, or you want one of us to?
If you can organize it, it would be great.
I'm gonna be real with you. Organized meetings across 3 shifts never work.
It doesn't. In fact, Barrick and I have already talked, and Barrick's simple response was, "Flop, you know we're gonna get the short end of the stick on this, right?"
Okay. Yeah, but that's how. I mean, I don't know.
Listen, we organize it, and we do the best we can.
Different because I'm always willing to sacrifice.
And
whatever.
that's why you're the replacement pillar of shift 3.
I mean, if something's happening like that, a voice needs to be had there, and I'll make my schedule free. It's fine. It's whatever. Not that I have a schedule anyway, but
all right.
What about Albert? How's Albert doing right now?
Who?
Albert
King.
He's
technically.
shift 1. Yeah.
Okay.
He's an in between where.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
majority of his time is technically 1, but he's 3-4 hours into shift 3 into shift 1.
I'll say he's great.
He's like the back half of 3 and the first half of 1.
But he's been great for what it's worth.
Yeah, because I'm looking at his report. He seems to be ready as far as being promoted to as well.
I'm gonna ask a side question. Not that I'm looking
Go
for a
ahead.
solid answer. I am just curious though, because I know that it has
Mhm.
been a question that everyone has come to me about. I don't know why. I don't know, Barrick, if you've received anything about it. Anything in regards to shift 3 and